Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Onen, and today I'm going to talk a bit more personal, that is my PhD journey. So my PhD journey was not all sunshine and roses, and I think for most people it is not. So if you're starting a PhD or if you're in the middle of it, I think this video is for you. Maybe it can give you some insights on what you can expect as a PhD student, well, the bad, the good, and everything in between. So now don't get me wrong, there are positives of doing a PhD. I am enjoying the fruits of my labor right now, but I just want to give you a heads up on all the challenges that I think a lot of people don't talk about. So let's just dive right in. So the first one is the reading. Oh my God, when you start your PhD or even before, you are thrown into this massive pile of literature, be it journal, books, articles, archival, readable things, anything that might relate to the topic. There were weeks when I couldn't see the sunshine, or I was just so stuck because I couldn't go on anymore. It was mostly in the end of my PhD, but it was just a lot. And the worst part is that you can never read enough. There's always something that you have missed, maybe a recent publishing that you have missed it, and maybe your professor already read it. So it's never going to be enough, whatever it is. So if you're expecting that you can just muck up all the things that has published until today, it's not possible. That's what I can tell you. So I spent so many hours in the libraries and in the archives flipping through those books, thinking, and sometimes it was just wondering, what am I even looking for? So it was quite exhausting. Another major challenge was the time with the professors. Well, it depends where you are actually doing your PhD, but in my case it was difficult because your professor has also other PhD students, junior, senior. They have to publish their own papers, they have to teach. So to get even a 15-minute time in 2-3 months was very difficult. And when you really do get the time, you think, is it the right way to get a guidance? So it was challenging. And then there's also those seminars that comes often in the university or where you have to attend. Some were interesting, but then after a while, it kind of gets repetitive. You attend the same kind of talks you hear, and you meet the same kind of people because, well, you're in this niche, you're doing this very particular small topic, and so, well, there are very few people that you always meet up, and it can be good and you can learn a lot of things, but then one time it just feels tiring, and it just feels a little bit kind of boring in a way, and then it can also make you feel burned out. So it's, you're constantly reminded also in a way how much you don't know, and you will never know enough. And that was what I had as a PhD student. So the third one is the writing process. Oh, the publishing, you have to publish again few articles before you even submit your PhD. So you write it, you read a lot of articles, then you submit it, and then you get a lot of feedbacks from your editors. Then you have to rewrite them again, check them again, read all the articles back and forth, you send them, and you might still get again some corrections. So after a while, these kind of back and forth with publishing can get also very tiring and very repetitive, and it was also a lot of work. So if you're already doing your PhD, and then you have the pressure to publish articles, then it can also be very time consuming, and it can also bring you a lot of health issues and problems. So I would also like you to warn that these are the things that you have to go through when you're doing a PhD. The other one is the financial struggle. So if you are a PhD student, you surely don't have a full-time job, or not even a part-time. In my case, I didn't have any job, but thankfully I got some scholarships here and there until the end of my PhD. But even for that, I had to study and also get through some exams. So it was challenging, and for a lot of students, or for most students in this case, especially in India, doing a being a PhD student means that you're really poor. I mean, if you choose to be like that, it's okay, but if you want to have like a decent life where you sometimes want to eat outside of your hostel, or you just want to go out once in a while, then it's also it can be a bit challenging. And we also faced a lot of that as a PhD student or as PhD students. So that is one thing that I can warn you of. But well, I've been talking a lot about that, but now I don't want to paint the entire PhD experience as bad, because you can also get a lot of valuable lessons. And I also, you know, in my journey, in my PhD journey, I got a lot of learned a lot of skills. First of all, it taught me patience, because you quickly learn that that to do a good research, you need to read a lot, and things don't go often as it's planned. So you have to wait weeks and weeks for feedback, for example, from your professors or from your other supervisors, or struggling to get to particular sources, or just slogging through writers' blog. You just name it. So in that way, you know, it can really play with your patience. But in the long run, it really has taught me to be more patient. The other one is the writing skills. When I was writing my PhD, I didn't think like that, but I realized that it has also changed a lot. It helped me a lot in my writing skills, well, after years and years of writing and reading. So now I feel like, yeah, I can communicate my ideas clearly and effectively, and that skill, you know, that you can always transfer to any kind of career. So don't be discouraged about doing a PhD. It can also lead to a lot of other transferable skills. The third is also presenting the research at conferences. In the beginning, it was just it was very nerve-wracking, but after a while you get used to it. Well, you talk about the same topic in a way with the same kind of people, more or less, and then you get used to it. And one time you realize that you are not that shy anymore. You can communicate well. You know, it's a unique environment. So, you know, this kind of skills are very transferable, and you can always use that outside of academia. So don't be discouraged if you're already in a PhD, especially, that these skills, you will know that you already have it before you know that you have it. However, if I go back, there are definitely some things that I would do and some things that I would change. That is learning additional skills. So when you are deep into your research, it's so easy to get into this tunnel vision, and you're so focused on your PhD that you don't think of anything. You just want to read, you just want to write, you just want to be done with it. So if you are in the middle of your PhD, or you're planning to start your PhD, then I suggest to also not just completely immerse yourself into your PhD research, but also do something, learn an additional skill that would help you even outside of your academia. It can just mean taking an online course, learning a language, or trying some coding, or if you're interested in that, or just learning some software skills. I just desperately ask you or request you to learn that besides your PhD, because once you are done with it, you might directly get a job, but it can be, but it might not be, and you might end up somewhere else in a very different environment. And for that, you need to have other skills other than just doing a PhD. For me, in my case, before 2 years of submitting my PhD, I started working in a college teaching, well, which was one of my most, I think, enjoyable, professionally enjoyable moment of my life. But so it was difficult for me to get or to involve into anything. I could have, but I thought that I was doing enough, because I was also flying back and forth to my university to meet my professor just for a day. So it took a lot of time, and I really just, I think, didn't have enough energy to learn another skill. So I highly recommend to learn another skill besides doing your PhD research. So that's my honest advice about PhD. Do it only if you truly want it. If you're so passionate about the subject matter, then you can do it. But I'm going to warn you that it's a long, hard journey until you're committed to this process, and it's going to take you 5 to 7 years. And after that, I can also tell you that the job market is also very difficult for PhDs. Depends in which department and in which subject you are doing, but it's tough competition these days. Everybody wants to have a PhD title, or if everybody wants to have go into academia, then it's going to be I think even tougher in the next year. So only do it if it's really necessary. So at the end of the day, my PhD experience was a mix of highs and lows. You learn a lot about writing, reading, communication skills. You know a lot about yourself. I also got to even like learn another foreign language, but it wasn't that easy. So if you're thinking of pursuing a PhD, then you have to do it with your eyes wide open. And so I wish you all the best if you are planning to do a PhD. If you're already in it, I tell you this again to learn additional skills and already look for jobs or some opportunities to already engage in it, because right after you are done, you might just be faced with a lot of problems financially and also without a job. So it's a tough market, and I hope that through this experience of mine, I hope that you have learned something from it. It was really not all bad, and I really had also a lot of fun getting to know a lot of people, learning a lot. I learned a lot, but I just hope that you will keep this in mind as well if you're planning to do one. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Cheers.